Hey everybody, I thought I would do a quick demo of Coach Hazel. I took one of the questions that we received in the Generation of Connection webinar that we had about a week and a half ago, and I thought I'd see how Hazel does. So I'm here in the interface, and again, this is just for DNA Skills Workshop participants, and so you can see I've already completed the best known match validator for this goal of finding the father of Josephine Merhard. And so now let's say I'm just going through the curriculum and I just think of this question that maybe doesn't have even all that much to do with the curriculum itself, but it's something that I've been wondering about. So I can come here to Coach Hazel and say, start a conversation. And I can just put my question in here. So this is the question that this person had. Many of my matches are half, third cousin once removed. Are they descendants of one part of a couple at the great-grandparent sibling or great-great-grandparent sibling level? So this is actually the perfect question after the Generation of Connection webinar. This is exactly what we were talking about, is how do you tell how far back in a match's tree you need to go before you're going to find your common ancestor? So let's see what Hazel says. So I just push send and you can see there she's thinking, and while she's thinking, she's reviewing the content of the DNA Skills Workshop and other Your DNA Guide curriculum. So she's not searching the web, she's not going to outside sources, she's only really looking at curriculum that's available to me as a student. And so again, she says half cousins are exactly where that one person, not the couple idea really pays off when you're tracking it correctly. So again, the first question in this question was, am I thinking about half cousins correctly? So again, half cousins are only related to one of your ancestral couples. So one person in the couple, not both the couple. And then she's walking you through how to do it. So what I love about Hazel is she's not just going to hand you the answer. She's not just going to actually tell you exactly what you asked. She's going to walk you through it to help you reason through it yourself, because an answer is actually not that helpful. But understanding the reasoning is very helpful so that in the future, you'll be able to do this on your own. So she's going to map it out for you. Half, third cousins once removed. First, the half part, you're right. A half relationship means you share just one ancestor, not the couple. So these matches descend from one member of a couple, not both. So she's both verified, essentially what you already said, and she's just restating it for you. Now, the third cousin once removed part tells us where that shared person sits. And she's going to point you back to a lesson in the DNA Skills Workshop. Remember from lesson 1.7, how the relationship name is a map to your MRCA, that most recent common ancestor. For a full third cousin, the shared couple is your 2 times great-grandparents. The once removed means one of you goes back one more generation. So between the two of you, the connecting ancestor is your 2 times great-grandparent on one side and their 3 times great-grandparent on the other, or the reverse, depending on which one of you is in the younger generation. Now you might be like, okay, hold on. Like, I don't really understand that. That was complicated. And I would encourage you to draw out things like this. Let's keep going. And then if we want to, we can ask Hazel more questions. So she says the single shared person is at your 2 times great-grandparent level, and your matches would be descendants of that person through a different spouse or line than yours. In sibling terms, that's around the great-great-grandparent generation, not the great-grandparents. One quick thing worth checking before you lean on that half label too hard, is the half coming from your paper trail? You actually know there was a second marriage? Or are you reading it off the shared centimorgans? Because those same centimorgans fit a couple different relationships, and the half version is just one of them. If you tell me which, I can help you pin it down. So wasn't that really helpful? She wants to dig one layer deeper. She wants to validate the information that you already have to make sure you're coming to her with the correct assumptions. So let's just say, and I don't know what this person had in their mind, but I'm going to say, actually, I was just going off of centimorgans, and that this person looks like they are my kid's age. I probably should put the apostrophe somewhere else. That's okay. All right, so now that we've told her that, she's going to say, good. The ages is the right instinct. So again, she's going to point out what you're doing well. That once removed guess should come from the birthdays first before the centimorgans, so you're doing it in the right order. So good job. And then here's the honest catch. Let me see if I can scroll up so I'm not, hold on, let me get myself out of here. Guess, hold on. Oh, I know, here. There we go. Okay. But here's the honest catch. The centimorgans alone can't tell you if it's a half relationship. When you look up a shared amount, the tool hands you a whole list of possibilities that all fit that same number. And half, third cousin once removed is just one option, sitting alongside full relationships that share the same centimorgans. The DNA can't distinguish half from full on its own. That distinguish comes from genealogy, knowing there was a second marriage, a half sibling line, something in the paper trail. So right now I'd hold that half label loosely. What the ages plus the centimorgans genuinely tell you is this person is probably a generation younger than you, and they connect somewhere around your 2 times great-grandparent generation. Whether it's half or full is still open until the paper trail tells you. So don't box yourself into just the half option yet. Keep both the full and half on the table as you start doing the genealogy. That way your bias doesn't send you down one branch too early. Okay? So again, we could, if we had more questions for Hazel, we could keep going. We could say something like, let's keep going here. We are sharing, let's say, 40 centimorgans. I'm just going to say that. And we'll see what Hazel says. Let me get myself out of the way again here. Oh, sorry. Here we go. All right, perfect. Now we've got a number to work with. 40 centimorgans at your kid's generation is a really workable match. Here's the thing about 40 centimorgans. It tells us it's a fairly modest amount. It opens up a wide range of possible relationships, not just half, third cousin once removed. At 40 centimorgans, you're squarely in the kind of range where lots of more distant cousins land. So I'd loosen that specific half, third cousin once removed, and you can see there's a little R there where there probably shouldn't be. The CM isn't pointing you there specifically. It's just one of many options that fit. And honestly, this is a good moment to remember what these matches are really for. A 40 centimorgan match who's in your kid's generation is a classic best mystery match candidate. The right kind of cousin, distant enough to point at an ancestor a few generations back. You don't need to nail the exact relationship name right now. You can figure out the precise connection by doing genealogy on their tree, not by pinning it down from the centimorgans. So here's your one next step. Pull up this matches tree and start there. Let the paper trail tell you whether it's half or full and exactly which ancestor connects you. The DNA has done its job by getting you into the right neighborhood. Okay, so I hope you found that really helpful, that you can see that you can go back and forth, you can clarify, you can ask additional questions. And you can see we've already received our next step, but if you want to, you can just click this wrap up and get my next step button. And then it will give you a really nice summary of your conversation, and it will show you kind of what you should do next, including places in the curriculum where you might want to go to review if you've already watched them, or to look forward to if you haven't quite gotten there yet. Okay? All right, I hope that was fun and interesting and helpful. And remember that this tool is currently available only to our DNA Skills Workshop enrollees, and that starts in August for our next class. So I really hope you'll join us, and I'm genuinely excited about this tool and its ability to just get you unstuck right away so you never lose momentum in your learning, and it builds your confidence so that you can apply all of this that you're learning to your own research. So I hope you'll join us in Skills.